What up, traders? What up, investors? I know this is going to be kind of a funny video. There's going to be some educational parts in it, I promise. We're going to be talking about Tesla stock, but we first have to start out with something funny. A lot of people who have been Tesla shareholders or trading it, this has been a very rough week with the movement into the S&P 500. A lot of the funds have beaten down Tesla to get very cheap prices, from my belief, my opinions. But that being said, we got confirmation. We have a exclusive video of itself, Tesla stock, getting ready, getting all dolled up, and being added into the S&P 500. So let's go ahead and cut to the clip. I had to change the music a little bit. I kind of added my little flair to it. We did Anchors Away to kind of salute our Navy men and women out there. With this one, just cast off into a new journey. So I kind of want to make it this kind of a humble kind of thing of just kind of flying by. I had to remove the song from it due to the fact of it's I don't want to be sued by the music companies. Okay, so let's go ahead and just watch it and get kind of a reaction to it. Here we come, S&P 500. Let's go. Bye, Felicia. So, wanted to share that. All that fun, nonsensical stuff away. So let's go ahead and jump into the chart. You can look here. It's been a heck of a week, boys and girls, with Tesla. Of course, being one of the larger, is the largest position in my portfolio. It was being hit and tossed around quite a bit. It was very kind of tough to see your little baby being tossed around as it was. With that being said, so full understanding of what's going on here. So S&P 500 is being added into the S&P 500. So what that means is basically funds have to add a certain balance amount to basically equate to what their threshold is to have it in their particular portfolio. So everyone who was speculating on this was like, oh, the stock's going to run up to $780. Like Goldman Sachs gave that wonderful little spiel about it and gave a price target that was that high. I think that was part of the con. I think that was a kind of a fishing lure out there to kind of catch that easy fish, the fish that only has about like two brain cells, and you just catch it, and they just wound it in and they reeled it in, basically throwing that bait out there. People were buying these $700, $750s, $800 calls that are expiring end of the year to beginning of January and February, raising up the stock. But then building up that basically floor, which people thought it was somewhat of support, then coming in and just selling a lot of at the open, and really making the people who really thought that is going to hit $700 within like 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks really rethink their methodology, and of course having them sell their shares and getting out of their positions, potentially cutting more than they wanted, got way ahead of themselves, added too much than they could chew, all kinds of things, really pushing that stock price down quite a bit, with a lot of selling pressure coming in on a day-to-day basis. So what do I mean by that? So there is evidence, again, everyone knows between the hours of 9:30 to like 10:30, sometimes even 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is the most amount of volume within any kind of chart. But we really saw that movement. Again, this is starting out of last week. We saw that huge move up, really catching all those two brain molecule fish or investors out there, or traders, at that really high, like 258 to 260. I mean, sorry, $650. Oh my gosh, my brain is fried right now. I apologize. With that level way up there, okay. They bit the lure. They saw that little shiny object, and they nibbled on it. Come in the following day, it's got overpriced, over limit, and then you just see an enormous amount of volume coming in. Again, very common in the first 30 minutes. We're looking here at a 15-minute chart, and you see it come down drastically and really just trend lower, even into after-hours trading, then giving a little bit of I would call it maybe a dead cat bounce, because it only went to the 15%, 50 percentile move. So we do a very quick fib here. the 50% while it was basically up here around 612-ish. Coming in the next day, kind of getting bumped up a little bit, but then after hours trading getting cut even more. Some other speculations, more selling going on. Of course, that this is the Friday that stock went up dramatically, and then you get more selling in the after hours session. On top of that, you get more discapitulation going to selling. You have, at the same time, you have quadruple expirations going out with like quadruple witching, with new contracts being rolled, and most people don't pay too much attention to it. And again, I didn't pay attention until maybe like 2 years ago when I started learning on how they move the contracts from 1 week prior to the next following monthly expiration and things like that. And now we're just getting kind of this bouncing around because all the big boys want to get a substantial price. They don't want to pay $660 for a stock that was just $600 a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago. They're going to beat that down. You can see here just on the volume. The first hour, you see just an enormous amount of volume coming in here. Really, especially around the 612 and below, you see each time that's ticked around those levels, you see a substantial amount of volume come in on those time frames, even to the up and down side. Really looking at a different picture here and kind of justifying on what I'm trying to, not preach, it's the wrong word to say it, with the amount of really activity in the market. Again, with looking here, let's look at here at a 4-hour chart. So you can kind of see here that right here, you see in this area between like the summertime into end of August and September, volume was very high because they had that 5-to-1 split. They had the battery day, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. Then you get kind of a lull here with the S&P 500. The Tesla basically not doing anything, staying in between like $450 to like $400 and just bouncing around for a couple months. Then they get that fantastic news of, hey, they're going to S&P 500, and everyone and their mother were long the stock, riding it all the way up. And then the more details come out on when the deadline is and how many blah, blah, blah. And then that really, again, kind of came down to somewhat reason around 580. But then from that 580 push all the way to that 670 or 669, which is the high here, which again, you can't make that stuff up, really drove it up higher. And this is where a lot of that pricing and the discounts where people wanted to get into. And then that being said, more news on when the dates have to be happening. That, of course, put in the plan for the big boys of like, hey, let's put out some feeders. Let's put out some pretty crazy price targets, and we'll see who bites, and then we can potentially move the price down to our limits. Wall Street Bets coming in today. We'll do another video on PLTR. They're coming in as well. Wall Street Bets and their family, they're throwing cash at Tesla today. They're truly, really showing a strong support at some key levels coming in today. Again, that 612 level, 612 to 613 has been fairly strong here. That's, again, we're looking at a very small time frame though. So, but again, this whole selling and all this kind of movement that we're seeing in the choppy market. Of course, we're seeing a lot of the favorites that we've seen and traded for some time kind of get bounced around. That really falls into the witching expirations on top of the stock being so heavily loved, and then at the same time so heavily hated and shorted. So that you have very aggressive bears, and then you have very aggressive bulls fighting it out on top of all the other stuff that's going on news articles saying Tesla's going to 1,000. Oh wait, JP Morgan saying Tesla's going to 60 or whatever. And it's giving the investor, the trader, literally nausea on how much information is flowing into his or her head. And that really just it really creates an emotional environment around the stock. And that's really what you're seeing it here. So basically the key takeaway is Tesla was an emotional roller coaster this week, and the larger funds knew on how to play the emotional roller coaster, and they played it out, I believe, perfectly. Initially, can Tesla go back down to 600? Of course it can, because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball back here. I do have a bald head, but I don't have a crystal ball. But that is what it is. I know I have been drinking some cacao from my SpaceX cup I got for my birthday. This is the cool cup where if you pour in something hot, the Mars cup where it's Mars, of course, is red, but if you add heat, aka nuclear explosions, it turns it into an Earth-like surface, raising the overall temperature and creating an atmosphere. So fancy cup. Thank you, Elon, for a wonderful gift. And well, he didn't buy it from me, my wife did, but whoever designed this cup, I love it. Anywho, I think I've ranted way more than I should this video. Please, again, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out the door. Before I let you go, I actually did not cover. I'm sorry, I didn't cover any of the takeaways. I feel really stupid here. Of course, I have two IQ in my brain right now. Okay, so what are we looking at for Tesla? That 615, 612 has been pretty substantial support. That comes down to around the 8 EMA on the daily side. Again, you can kind of see that pattern playing out here. We talked about not worst case, but a very strong selling. The 21 EMA would come down to play. That's why you see a lot of these various alerts at on my chart right here. Initially looking for potentially if this trend can continue and we get an overall market move up into the end of this week, into really to next week, aka Xmas, the holiday rally, the Santa rally, whatever you want to call it, we can potentially break above 640 and potentially test 650 at that level. That being said, that's going to be somewhere we have to kind of relook at that because we still have the purple parabolic SAR dots above the ticks, and those are really going to kind of keep us down until we get any kind of momentum to really break through that. That being said, guys, now I can let you go. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out the door, and if you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. All right, guys, take it easy, be safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.